According to General Hospital teasers, a 911 call might spark the Drew Kane mystery. A criminal probe will shock Port Charles in the next episodes, so here's what GH fans can expect. In the September 3rd episode, Anna Devane and Dante Falconeri will be drawn in by a 911 call. Dante and Anna will be the ones to respond to the incident they are about to receive updates on. It's possible that this is tied to the discovery of Judge Eva Heron's body, but it's also possible that this is a different crime that occurs later. Drew is likely to face serious danger as a result of the enemies he has made in Port Charles. One of them may attempt to permanently remove Drew, setting the stage for this 911 call if he is discovered gravely injured somewhere. Based on how the dark signs have been piling up recently, it's safe to assume the whodunit might start any day now. Drew might be the reason for the emergency call and the subsequent criminal probe. On September 4th, Anna and Harrison Chase will question several key suspects. There will be plenty of potential suspects to question if Drew is the victim of the upcoming crime. We should also look at what's going on with the other characters after the week of September 1st to 5th ends. GH viewers will see a terrified Trina Robinson, a risk-taking Nina Reeves, and a stunned Alexis Davis, all of which may fit with the aftermath of some Drew horror. General Hospital spoilers suggest that some criminal news will circulate quickly and rock up Port Charles. This appears to be about more than simply Judge Heron's death. Thus an attack on Drew may follow the corpse discovery, giving the cops something more to investigate. Are you looking forward to seeing Drew face some consequences? Drew will pay the consequences of everything he has done, even if he survives the awful ordeal ahead. General Hospital spoilers reveal that Jen Sidwell is the mastermind behind the agenda unfolding in Port Charles and back in Croatia. Do you want more General Hospital news? Get the latest General Hospital news delivered straight to your email. Website email. Subscribe. We use your personal information for interest-based advertising, as described in our privacy notice. According to rumors, Sidwell used his henchman Pascal to deliver a deadly chemical, causing Maxie Jones to have a heart attack and fall into a coma, in order to quiet her regarding Sonny Corinthos and Natalia Ramirez's suspicious financial scheme. Sidwell's endgame? Hijacking deception cosmetics for illicit transactions, such as money laundering or smuggling, with Pascal and Professor Henry Hank Dalton involved, and probably more shadowy figures lurking. But who genuinely runs this operation? Sidwell's aggressive gestures indicate he is in charge, yet signs such as Colette Moreau's visit to Windermere, reinforcing Pascal's desire for an update, prompted Sidwell to respond that he does not obey Pascal's directives. An indication of a sophisticated hierarchy? Is Sidwell the boss? Or is someone tugging his strings? Sidwell's deadly scheme is exposed. Sidwell's plot against Maxie is calculated, with Pascal slipping her the toxin during a home and heart demo to guarantee she doesn't reveal Sonny and Natalia's involvement in deception's problems. With Maxie now unconscious, Sidwell considers acquiring control of the corporation, possibly for illicit operations such as product tampering or secret shipments. Pascal's employment as the delivery man meshes with his Croatian antics, which include taking Jocelyn Joss Jacks and Vaughn hostage at the Five Poppies Hotel. However, Dalton's laboratory work raises doubts. Is he making these compounds for Sidwell, or is the chain of command unclear? Sidwell's refusal to grovel to Pascal indicates that he is not an underling, but his reliance on allies suggests that he may not be the top dog. Pascal is a pawn or a partner. Pascal's demands to Colette at Windermere for information on Sidwell's progress portray him as an important actor, but Sidwell's indignant response reveals strain in their alliance. Is Pascal an equal participant in the deception takeover, or a mid-level operative carrying out a higher powers agenda? His Five Poppies stronghold, linked to WSB intrigue and Britt Westbourne's incarceration, suggests larger networks. If Dalton is engaged in the poison's production, he could be the scientific brains, but who oversees everything? Speculation leads to an invisible boss, possibly a Cassadine or WSB renegade, who uses Sidwell and Pascal as fronts to evade detection. The leader of the pack with Maxie fighting for her life, the race to find the ringleader may heat up after Dr. Lucas Jones and Anna Devane discover poisoning was a factor in her condition. If Sidwell is the leader, his deception grab might fund larger crimes, but Pascal's autonomy shows a power dynamic. Dalton's low profile makes him a dark horse. Perhaps he's the puppeteer, operating from the shadows. Is someone else calling the shots, such as a mysterious investor or WSB insider? Clues such as Colette's errands lead to a breakdown in allegiance, where egos collide. As Jason Morgan and Anna move in, the truth could bring down this cartel. Will Sidwell crack under pressure and reveal the true leader? Stay tuned for more GH updates and spoilers to discover out. The location brought them to a huge house, its iron gates open and the driveway lined with towering trees. The mansion belonged to Drew Kane, a well-known figure in Port Charles. Drew, a former Navy SEAL turned software mogul, was known for being both seductive and enigmatic, moving in elite circles while keeping his personal life private. The mansion was black, with the exception of a single light burning in an upstairs window. Dante and Nathan approached, their flashlights cutting through the darkness, and found the front door slightly open. They felt uneasy. This wasn't just an accident scene. It felt more malevolent. Inside, the air was thick with the metallic odor of blood. The cops proceeded gingerly, their footsteps echoing over the marble floors. They found Drew Kane slumped over his desk, a letter opener buried in his chest. Papers were strewn over the floor, and a tumbler of bourbon smashed near his hand. The scene was chaotic, but weirdly intentional, as if it had been choreographed for maximum effect. Dante knelt alongside the body, looking for a pulse he was certain he wouldn't find. Drew's gaze looked blankly ahead, his face frozen with surprise and sorrow. Nathan inspected the area, his attention drawn to a half-open safe in the corner, its contents missing. This wasn't random, he said. Someone knew exactly what they were looking for. The 911 call was made from an untraceable burner phone, and the woman's voice did not match any of Drew's known associates, at least not yet. The police guarded the site, and the estate was soon inundated with forensic teams, cameras blazing as they documented every detail. The news of Drew's death spread like wildfire around Port Charles, sparking rumors and curiosity. By dawn, the town's gossip mill was in high gear. Drew was more than simply a businessman. He was a man with ties to the Quartermain family, the Corinthos crime syndicate, and a history of high-profile deals that had earned him both friends and enemies. His death was more than just a tragedy. It was a flame that threatened to rekindle long-buried emotions. Sam McCall, a reporter for the Port Charles Herald, was already delving into the matter. Sam had a personal stake in this. She and Drew had been close before, their relationship a delicate dance of trust and betrayal. She sat at her computer, scrolling through old emails and texts, trying to piece together Drew's last few days. He'd been aloof lately, engrossed with a hidden project that he wouldn't discuss with anybody, including her. Sam's intuition warned her that this was not a random act of violence. Drew had been working on something significant, something worth dying for. Her editor, Alexis Davis, advised her to proceed carefully. "You're too close to this, Sam," Alexis cautioned, her voice full of anxiety. "If you're not careful, you'll get burned." But Sam couldn't let it go. She owed Drew so much. Across town, the Quartermain mansion was a hub of activity. Monica Quartermain, the family matriarch, was distraught but determined. Drew had been her son, but their relationship had been strained by years of family drama and corporate power struggles. She gathered the family in the drawing room, her gaze swept across the faces of her children and grandchildren. Someone in this room, she reasoned, knows more than they let on. Her son, Jason Morgan, stood in the corner with an unreadable face. Drew's twin brother was Jason, a man with a shady past linked to the mob, but their bond was more rivalry than brotherly. "We need answers," Monica stated calmly despite her sadness. "And we need them now." The investigation gained traction when Dante and Nathan examined Drew's inner circle. Curtis Ashford, his business partner, denied ignorance, saying that their latest venture, a cutting-edge AI startup, was doing well. However, Curtis' uneasy glances and ambiguous responses raised warning flags. Then there was Carly Corinthos, the fiery co-owner of the Metro Court Hotel, who claimed to having a furious altercation with Drew just days before his murder. "It was about business," she explained, her tone defensive. "Nothing personal." However, in Port Charles, business was always personal. Carly's husband, Sonny Corinthos, was less forthcoming, and his silence spoke volumes. Sonny's empire had clashed with Drew's goals more than once, and Dante couldn't resist the suspicion that Sonny knew more than he was admitting. The case became murkier with time. The The estate's groundskeeper reported seeing a woman in a dark coat leave the property the night of the murder. The description was vague, medium height, dark hair, but it matched half a dozen women in Drew's life, including Sam, Carly, and Elizabeth Weber, Drew's on and off again lover. Elizabeth said she was working a double shift at General Hospital, but her alibi was thin, and her hospital records revealed an unexplained gap in her whereabouts. Meanwhile, a strange email appeared on Drew's laptop, sent hours before his death. "You're in over your head. Back off or you'll regret it." The sender's address was a dead end, routed through many servers to hide its origin. Sam's inquiry led her to the docks, where Port Charles's underworld thrives. She met Spinelli, a hacker with a flair for revealing secrets. Spinelli's fingers sped over his keyboard, bringing up encrypted information from Drew's cloud storage. What they discovered was astonishing: designs for an AI system capable of revolutionizing data security, as well as a list of potential buyers, some legal, some linked to international crime syndicates. "This is why he was killed," Sam said softly, her heart hammering. "He was playing with fire." Spinelli agreed, his face gloomy. "And someone wanted to make sure that fire went out." Back at the police station, Dante and Nathan sorted through the evidence. The letter opener, clean of prints, provided no leads. The lost contents of the safe remained a mystery. Perhaps contracts, cash, or something more deadly. A partial footprint in the research indicated a size 9 shoe, but it was too smudged to be definitive. As they dug deeper, more questions appeared. Was Drew's death due to his business operations, or was it personal? His ex-wife, Kim Nero, had lately returned to town, and her sudden entrance raised eyebrows. Kim claimed she was seeking closure, but her evasive replies during interrogation did not help her case. Drew's memorial, held at the Quartermain estate, was a heated ceremony attended by the town's elite. Old grudges emerged and accusations flew. Monica contacted Sonny, demanding to know if his organization played a role in her son's death. Sonny's cool denial only increased her suspicions. Carly, meanwhile, took Sam away with a quiet voice. "I understand you're digging, Sam. Be careful. There are people in this town who will do anything to keep their secrets hidden." Sam agreed, but her resolve grew stronger. She left early, determined to pursue a new lead. A cryptic phone number scrawled on a napkin in Drew's desk. The number sent Sam to a sleazy tavern on the outskirts of town, where he met a frightened informant named Milo. He claimed to have overheard a conversation concerning Drew's AI project, implying that the buyer would go to any length to secure it. Before Milo could continue, a bullet rang out and he dropped to the floor. Sam dove for safety, her heart pumping as chaos ensued. The shooter disappeared into the darkness, leaving Sam with more questions than answers. When Dante returned to the police station, he was enraged to learn of her reckless pursuit. "You're not a cop, Sam," he retorted. "You're going to get yourself killed." Sam was unconcerned. She felt more connected to the truth than ever. The investigation languished as the weeks and months passed. The burner phone from the 911 call remained a dead lead, and the woman's voice lingered in Dante's dreams. New suspects arose, including Valentine Cassadine, a vicious businessman with ties to Drew's AI project, and Nina Reeves, whose resentment of Drew's relationships had made her a wild card. However, no one could be pinned down. The evidence was circumstantial, and the alibis were either too tight or too imprecise. The town began to splinter, with factions forming: those who supported Drew's memory, and those who believed he brought it on himself. Sam, fatigued but determined, continued digging. She discovered a hidden file on Drew's laptop, which was encrypted with a code that only she could unlock. Inside was a video message from Drew, filmed on the day he died. His face was pale and his voice sounded urgent. "If you are watching this, I am probably gone. Sam, I got too deep. The AI is bigger than I expected. Trust no one. Not even those you love." The video abruptly ended, leaving Sam looking at the screen, her thoughts racing. Drew had placed his trust in whom? Who betrayed him? Ultimately, Port Charles was left with more questions than answers. Drew's death revealed the town's fault lines: greed, ambition, loyalty, and betrayal. The cops continued their investigation, chasing leads that led nowhere. Sam decided to keep looking, even if the trail became cold. The 911 call that started it all remained the key: a haunting echo of a reality just out of grasp. Someone in Port Charles knew what had transpired that night, and they were watching, waiting, and prepared to attack again if the truth became too close. Sidwell's reputation preceded him. A pharmaceutical magnate with a smile that could entice a snake, he had created an empire on the promise of cures and the shadow of something much darker. The rumor on the street was that Sidwell's labs did more than just make life-saving pharmaceuticals. They also experimented with things that couldn't be articulated in glossy brochures. Some claimed it was poisonous, toxins so mild that they may enter the bloodstream and leave no trace other than a cold body on the floor. Maxie had heard the stories and disregarded most of them as tabloid drivel, but the glitter in Sidwell's eyes when they met at a charity banquet last month had sown a seed of concern. He'd stayed on her for much too long, his look analytical rather than hungry, as if she were a conundrum he was already completing. The penthouse door clicked open and Sidwell stepped inside, his fitted suit catching the light like obsidian. "Maxie," he began, his voice silky as velvet, "you look like you're expecting a guillotine." He moved through the room with the grace of a panther, pouring himself a drink from a crystal decanter. The amber liquid gleamed, and Maxie's grasp on her glass tightened. She forced a smile, one she'd honed in boardrooms and backrooms alike. "I am here, right?" she replied, her tone light yet firm. "You said mutual interest. I'm interested what you believe we have in common." Sidwell chuckled, but it did not reach his eyes. He nodded toward the leather sofa, but Maxie remained standing, her heels firmly planted on the hardwood. She wasn't here to be comfortable. "Let's skip the pleasantries," she remarked. "What do you want?" Sidwell's smile broadened, but it was the type that made you check your pockets. He placed down his glass and leaned against the bar. "I want to offer you something," he said. "An opportunity to rewrite your story. You're a woman who has worked her way to the top of Crimson magazine, but we both know the glass ceiling in this town is thicker than you would like. I can help you shatter it." Maxie's pulse accelerated, not from flattery, but from the implication. Sidwell wasn't providing a favor. He was dangling an offer. "And in return?" she inquired, her voice firm despite the tingle of uneasiness running up her spine. Sidwell's eyes glittered. He paused as if savoring the moment. "In return, you help me with a delicate matter. My company is designing a product. Revolutionary indeed. However, it requires specific types of exposure. Your magazine has the reach and influence. A few well-placed articles, a glowing feature or two, and we could shift the game." Maxie's thoughts raced. Crimson was her enterprise, founded on grit and instinct, but it was not a paid spokesperson. She'd battled too hard to keep it autonomous, to keep her voice from being drowned out by men who believed they owned Port Charles. Constant pressure has become unbearable. Fans see her struggling to keep the peace, even at the cost of her own mental health, and they're worried that the breaking point is coming sooner rather than later. Adding to the chaos is the unrelenting tension between Willow and Nina, a relationship that has always been defined by betrayal, mistrust, and lingering resentment. Nina's involvement in Willow's life has brought nothing but pain, and despite brief moments where it seemed like reconciliation was possible, those hopes have always shattered under the weight of new secrets and manipulations. Each confrontation leaves Willow visibly shaken, and each time she attempts to set boundaries, something or someone pulls her back into Nina's orbit. Fans have been vocal about how toxic this dynamic has become, and many believe it's one of the biggest reasons Willow's emotional state has deteriorated so rapidly. Even as her personal relationships crumble, Willow's responsibilities as a mother have added yet another layer of pressure she can't seem to handle. She loves her children deeply, and her fierce desire to protect them has always been one of her strongest traits, but that same devotion has also become one of her greatest sources of stress. Between family feuds, threats from unexpected enemies, and the constant fear that her fragile happiness could be destroyed, Willow is drowning in anxiety. She's trying to be the perfect mother, wife, and peacemaker all at once, but in doing so she's losing sight of her own needs and well-being. This emotional spiral hasn't gone unnoticed by fans, who have taken to online forums, fan groups, and social media to debate what's next for Willow. A growing number believe that she needs professional help before things take a darker turn. It's not just about managing the drama around her anymore. It's about saving herself from being consumed by it. The suggestion to commit Weeping Willow doesn't come from a place of cruelty but rather concern. Viewers have seen too many Port Charles residents fall apart when they try to carry their burdens alone, and many fear that Willow is heading down that same dangerous path, unless she finds a way to step back and get the help she needs. There's also a strong undercurrent of frustration among longtime viewers who feel the writers have put Willow in a constant cycle of victimhood, without allowing her to grow stronger from her experiences. Every time she tries to reclaim control of her life, another devastating twist knocks her off balance. Fans want to see her empowered, making decisions for herself instead of being pulled in 10 different directions by everyone else's agendas. But until she takes that step, the idea of an emotional collapse feels inevitable, and some believe that time away from the chaos of Port Charles could be the reset she desperately needs. Of course, the possibility of a full-blown mental health storyline opens the door to major shifts in several other storylines as well. Michael would be forced to confront his own role in Willow's suffering, perhaps leading to explosive confrontations within the Corinthos family. Nina's obsession with control could spiral even further out of hand if she's cut off from Willow entirely. And if Willow does take a step back, it could create unexpected openings for other characters to step into her place, shifting alliances and deepening rivalries across Port Charles. Fans are already speculating that this could lead to shocking betrayals, unexpected reconciliations, and new power dynamics that would reshape the canvas of the show. For now, though, Willow remains caught between her desire to hold her life together and the crushing weight of everything threatening to tear it apart. Her tears have become symbolic for viewers, a representation of someone who has endured too much without getting the support she truly needs. Whether or not the writers decide to take her down the path of a mental health-focused storyline, it's clear that something has to give soon. Willow can't continue at this pace forever, and fans are bracing themselves for the moment when she finally reaches her breaking point. If the writers handle it with care, this could be one of the most powerful turning points in Willow's journey. It could be the storyline that finally forces her to confront her pain, reclaim her strength, and redefine her relationships on her own terms. But if they continue dragging her through one heartbreak after another without giving her space to grow, the fan frustration will only deepen, and calls to commit Weeping Willow will grow louder. Right now, the future is uncertain, and everyone is waiting to see whether Willow rises from the ashes of her suffering, or if she completely shatters under the weight of it